All right, time to start our next project. And well, to start that out, I got to make a pattern. It is a Heckler & Koch HK P7M8. Now, when I have something new like this that I need to make a pattern for, to kind of take a shortcut, I just kind of dig through my dummy guns to see if I can find something similar. So, even though a 1911 is a lot longer and is considered a full-size gun, still some of the dimensions are similar. But, nah. When I got the one without the rail. Glock 19, oh no, that's way off. So, it's down to the smaller guns. Now, actually, the Smith & Wesson 5906 is very similar. It's got the square trigger guard, and the size from the bottom of the trigger guard to the top of the slide is quite similar. Well, of course, it's a little bit longer, you can see that. So, you know, okay, it's going to be a cross between this one and one of these smaller ones. Looked at the Remington R51. That's pretty close. The Shield, well, that's a bit too chunky. You can see how much bigger that space is. And the Glock 43, that's actually pretty close. The Glock 43 is just a little bit longer, but you know, that's okay because I'm making the pattern, I can modify it appropriately. So, ends up, it's going to be somewhere between these two. So what I did is I dug through my big file of patterns. I save them for just such an occasion. And I came up with my Glock 43 pattern. Then, hold on a second. Then I just took that and traced it onto another piece of paper. And then I'm going to change it around. Like I'm going to change the stitch line up a little bit because it's a little bit narrower. And I want it to fit snugly in the holster. I don't want it falling out. And I'm also going to shorten it a little bit. So I'm basing my new pattern off of an old pattern, and then I'm going to change it around a little bit. Do some scribbling on it, erasing. And then I am going to set it overnight. Basically set it and forget it. And then come back to it the next day. And if I still like what I'm looking at, then I will submit the design to the person I'm making the holster for. And once that gets approved, then I can start cutting leather. So we'll come back and we'll see what I end up with. Well, here's what I've come up with. That's it, just a nice basic holster. This will curve up there, and I made sure that it clears the magazine release. You don't want the holster itself to interfere with the magazine release. Now these will curve around like this. Well, I got this one about like that. So it'll sit a little bit more narrower once it's all molded. Oh, and another thing is to be left-handed. I know this is a right-handed holster, but when I make the pattern, it doesn't really matter because I can always take the pattern and flip it over before I cut the leather. Well, now all I'm waiting on is approval for the pattern, and once I get that, or you know, whatever changes the person wants to have made to it. But once I get that, once I get a final pattern or final approval, then I can start cutting leather. And we'll see you then.